Hello students and welcome once again. In this video, we are going to discuss chapter 2, that is Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom. Well, before we begin the chapter, here we have some memorable quote from the autobiographical note of Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Well, we have some important pictures taken from the web. As you can see, Nelson Mandela delivering his speech at Sandstone Amphitheatre, and other pictures depicting his imprisonment that lasted for 27 years and more. Well, now we have a brief introduction to the chapter Long Walk to Freedom, which is actually a biographical note by Nelson Mandela himself, and this introduction has been taken from Wikipedia. Long Walk to Freedom is an autobiography written by South African President Nelson Mandela and first published in 1994 by Little Brown and Company. The book profiles his early life, coming of age, education, and 27 years in prison. Under the apartheid government, Mandela was regarded as a terrorist and jailed on the infamous Robben Island for his role as a leader of the then outlawed ANC, which is African National Congress. He later achieved international recognition for his leadership as president in rebuilding the country's once segregated society. The last chapters of the book described his political ascension and his belief that the struggle still continued against apartheid in South Africa. Well, now the introduction of the chapter. This chapter is an extract from the autobiography of Nelson Mandela. He was born on 18th July 1918. He was the first black president of South Africa. Excerpts from Long Walk to Freedom consist of description of the inauguration ceremony, citations from his speech, his journey to being a freedom fighter, the struggle, along with a tribute to other freedom fighters and countless other people who fought for their freedom. In South Africa, a ruthless practice named apartheid was followed. Apartheid refers to the discrimination between people on the basis of their race. It was one of the most inhuman societies where dark-skinned people were deprived of their basic rights. This excerpt gives us a summary as to how Nelson Mandela, along with others, shaped their way to a civilization where there will be no discrimination on the basis of their color, caste, gender, or race. Well, let us now begin with the chapter. Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. 10th May dawned bright and clear. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respects before the inauguration. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South African soil. The ceremonies took place in the lovely Sandstone Amphitheatre formed by the Union Buildings in Pretoria. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the site of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations for the installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. And now the explanation of the text. So, it was 10th May, the day when Nelson Mandela took an oath in as the first black head or president of state, South Africa. It was after years of hard struggle that his anti-racist party came into supremacy. Until before, it was always the white presidents who were in power. Hence, the author Nelson Mandela referred to the day as Lovely Autumn Day. It was a beautiful morning instilling optimism, promising hope. Well, days before this date, many prominent personalities began to pass on good wishes to him for his victory. In the country's history, ever for the first time, umpteen dignitaries and international leaders came together for the inauguration ceremony. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater, and which is an open circular building made of sandstone consisting of union buildings in the Pretoria city. So now we have the new words that we have encountered in the text so far. Dawned means it is the past form of dawn, that means beginning of a day, and here it means began. Pleasantly, that means satisfying. Besieged means to be surrounded by or overwhelmed. Dignitaries means people considered to be important because of high rank or office. Sandstone means sedimentary rock consisting of sand or quartz grains cemented together. Amphitheater means a theater without a roof, an open air theater. And supremacy, the state of or condition of being superior to all others in authority, power, or status. Well, now it's time for some important questions. Oral comprehension check. Question number 1. Where did the ceremonies take place? And can you name any public buildings in India that are made of sandstone? Question number 2. Can you say how 10 May is an autumn day in South Africa? And question number 3, which is not of oral comprehension check, but it is very important. What do you mean by apartheid? All these questions needs to be done in your notebook. Well, some important notes before we wind up the segment that we have covered in this video. Following are the points to remember. 10th May, the day when Nelson Mandela took an oath in as the first black head of the state of South Africa. After years of hard struggle, his anti-racist party came into power, that is supremacy. Until before, it was always the white presidents. Next point, Nelson Mandela referred to the day as Lovely Autumn Day. Next point, in the country's history ever, for the first time, umpteen dignitaries and international leaders came together for the inauguration ceremony. And the last point, the ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater consisting of union buildings in the Pretoria city. Well, that's all in this video. Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. The concluding part of the chapter will be continued in the next video. Thank you.